Hello, and welcome to a brand new day of free-to-play here on Sorcery, Contested Realm, real life. Get the dish on the latest with me, Lord Rumfish. I've been a Magic player since about 2003, and I'm still gonna be. I'm not quitting the game, but I am pulling back my spending. I'm not spending as much on Magic. I'm not even playing as much on Arena as I used to. Uh, Part of it's that there's too many sets to keep up with. Part of it's that some of the sets that are coming out uh, don't really appeal to me. So I'm spending less on singles. I'm spending a lot less on sealed product. And I've started looking around for other games to play. In some cases, I've gone back to something old, like the Mythgard game on Steam, which has no further updates coming, but it's still a fun game to play. In the realm of physical cards, I'm taking a look at Sorcery, and this is their most recent set, Gothic. So, if you've never played Sorcery, it is a game made with a lot of love and care. All of the art is hand painted or hand drawn. Only one set has been coming out a year so far. The only exception was a 13 card mini set where you buy the pack and you get all of the cards from the mini set. It's not random. Um, which I think that's the way to do it. If you want to put out like a little tiny set, it's just don't make it a random distribution. Just give them the cards. But mostly it's just one set a year. Maybe in the future, eventually, if Sorcery is wildly popular, they'll change their cadence. But for now, this is what we've got until sometime late into this year, 2026. So Gothic is the third set of Sorcery. I'm going to start opening the box if I can figure out how. Here we go. It's the third set. Um, Now, Alpha and Beta, you could call them different sets, but there were only a couple of extremely minor differences when it came to the cards. They're mostly the same set. So there's Alpha and Beta. Beta is kind of like a good core set of the game. For some basic effects, has a pretty good card pool. This set, Gothic, actually has a huge card pool. It's got 440 cards, so there's lots to collect. So even though it's the only set we've got for a year, there's there's a lot to try to find in terms of the unique cards. The uniques are kind of like the mythics, the mythic rares of this game. Now there's also Arthurian Legends. Arthurian Legends was a slightly smaller set, and when it first came out, it wasn't very popular. Now the price on it is going back up. I don't know if you can see this little sticker. It says "Evil Within." It's cute. All right, so I'm going to peel this sticker up. You're gonna see that it's got a special void symbol underneath, and yeah, this case is better quality than some cases are. It's magnetically sealed. So let me just take this tag off of here. Now, Sorcery is not, like, I wouldn't call it cheap exactly. It has 36 boosters in this box. So if you want to compare it to Magic, first of all, you need to give a 20% discount in favor of Sorcery because it's got 20% more packs in it. I don't know if doing an apples to apples comparison really is important though. Sorcery is a different game. It comes out at a different speed. you know. This box, the MSRP was $166.66. It's because it's got this evil Gothic theme. I actually got this box for less than that. I got it for $139.45. That was shipping included, but not tax. So here we got the box topper. If I was doing this all the time, I would skip it, but I'm not going to get a lot of chances to open the set. You know, I don't have a whole lot of excess money to throw at this kind of thing. So I want to enjoy it where I can. So let me see if I can peel this open here. There we go. Yeah, that little pack was pretty sturdy. So there's some little tokens here. Tiny little skeleton tokens. On the back, it's got Ward. It's a new mechanic in the set. Down here we have frogs. Frogs have no power, but they can submerge underwater. On the back of the frog, we've got stealth, to remind you if a unit's in stealth or not. If you're wondering what all of that is, I'm not going to try to explain all of the rules of sorcery today. I'll explain a little bit. I'm not an expert, because even though I've watched a lot of YouTube channels and I'm very interested in the game, I haven't actually played my first game of it yet. So my my take on the rules might be a little bit off. All right, so this is like a card that has all the Gothic artists. Set that to the side. We've got Desecrated Ground and Consecrated Ground. So this is a site that you can put in your atlas. And they're like the lands of the game, but you build the lands on a board. I believe the board is 5 wide by 4 across. Your avatar starts in the middle, and the first thing they have to do is tap and play a site for them to stand on, and you build the game board as you're going in the void. So there's a whole element of spatial combat that's happening that doesn't happen in Magic. All right, there's a rules card talking about the collection and Ward and Evil. We'll put that over here with the artists. Rubble. This is not something you put in your deck. This is like a token to represent when a site gets destroyed. It leaves behind rubble. No one controls it. It doesn't make mana, but it can. You can stand on it. You can burrow underneath it. So we'll put that with the sites. And then there's a few of these cards that it gives you that. The reason it gives you some of these and the Desecrated Consecrated Ground is you can access a sort of a sideboard, and the sideboard is called your collection. So you can pull cards out of the collection directly. So even though none of these cards are that powerful on their own, if you can get them sort of for free from the effect of another card, that makes them kind of good. So we'll start making a pile of, I guess we'll make an ordinary pile down here. And we'll start getting into it. So I opened a box of Arthurian Legends. That's the only other time I've opened sorcery cards. The pack's got an inner layer to it. Well made. All right, here's the Desecrated Ground again. And that's an exceptional. Exceptionals are like the uncommons in Magic. And in Sorcery, you have deck limits where you can have 4 of an ordinary in your deck, 3 of an exceptional, 2 of an elite, that's like the rare, and 1 of a unique. That's like the mythic. So it's a deck building restriction as well as a rarity. All right, some exceptional cards. We'll make a little exceptional pile here. And I guess we'll leave the sights to the side. Lord of Lies as our first elite. Once on your turn, you may have 2 target units at a nearby location fight. Seems pretty good. It's also like 6/6 for 6. They can have split power and toughness. They introduced that in Arthurian Legends. But I don't know if any of the cards in Gothic actually have the split power toughness. So most of them, if you just see the 6 there, it deals 6 damage, it takes 6 to kill it. And then we've got our ordinary cards. I'll keep putting the sights over here. Well, I guess I'll put the rest of the ordinaries in a pile. So the art is just amazing in this set. It's all hand-painted, hand-drawn. It's amazing how much love is put into this game by Eric's Curioso that makes it. So I just, that was the thing that really drew me in initially, was the art. But then when I stuck around and watched some gameplay on YouTube, it's like, oh, the game looks fun to play too. So I've got some friends who are into board games. I might try to get them to play a game with me. The nearest place I could play is about an hour and a half away. Maybe slightly closer, hour and 15 minutes, something like that. It's up close to Cincinnati. All right, here's some exceptionals. Oh, we'll make an avatar pile too. We'll keep them separate. Persecutor. Your avatar is you, the spellcaster. You have a card that represents you in the world, and you have special effects that change what you're capable of. So you kind of build around it, not unlike a commander. I would say it's a little bit closer to being like Vanguard. Probably no one remembers Vanguard. But Vanguard was an old standard format where they had these big oversized cards that would change your starting life total, your hand size, and it would give you like some effect you had access to with your avatar, your Vanguard. So that was cool. It was from a long time ago. They experimented with it some on Magic Online. Persecutor. We'll put them up here. There's a site. Road to Perdition. Oh, this is a good one. Dank Omphalos. The Unique Monument. So this is an artifact that sits on one of your lands. Monuments normally can't be moved. There are spells that can do it, though. It casts air and water spells, so there's 4 elements, right? Air, earth, fire, and water. There's also colorless spells like this one that don't require those thresholds to meet. This can cast air and water spells, and at the end of your turn, this draws a spell which only it can cast. And minions it casts must be summoned here. It's hard to draw cards in this game. It's easy to make mana. It's hard to draw cards. So, you can be very impressed by the rate you can get mana in this game, but you tend to run out of cards and have a hard time drawing more. So these things, there's a cycle of them for different combined spellcasters, and they all can draw you cards and act like a spellcaster. And that is very potent. So let's see. All right, I was putting the ordinaries over here. So I'll put the uniques right there. Well, maybe I'll put the uniques up top. It'll be easier to see them. I won't cover it up with my hand. There we go. So yeah, this card is it's very good and it's worth some money. I wouldn't be surprised if this was like somewhere in the $20 to $40 range right now. I'd have to double check. It's been a little while since I looked at the prices. The set's still very new. All right. Keep putting the sights over here. Lead works. Uh, there are some cards you can find in the ordinary slots in the pack. That's where the foils show up, back in the ordinaries. And there's also occasionally, like once every 50 to 100 boxes, there's something called curios. Curios are cards that have alternate art, alternate text. Sometimes they look wildly different. Sometimes they look just ever so slightly different. The curios are exceptionally rare. Very collectible. All right, here's our uncommons. Holy Nova. All right. Sturmgeist. Try not to scream near this elite spirit. So, like a 3/3 for 3. Airborne. Airborne means it can move diagonally. It also can't be attacked by things that don't have ranged, I believe. So it can kind of move around on the game board, and most units can't interfere with it. It's pretty handy. Whenever an enemy casts magic, Sturmgeist steps closer, then strikes it if adjacent. So a strike is different than a fight. Strike just means like it hits them and they don't get to hit back. Fight means they both hit each other. So striking is good. This seems useful. You know, a three toughness minion is definitely killable in the game, but it has a good ability. You can't ignore it. You can't just cast your spells and let it do its thing, or it's gonna beat you up. So you must get rid of it. All right, ordinaries. Oh, here we go. Here's a foil. Cursed Iron. An elite aura to punish the possessive. Artifacts here can't be dropped. Um, so things that are not monuments or creatures, like automatons or whatever, all the other artifacts you can pick up and carry around. And often you want to. They're called like relics and stuff. This says artifacts can't be dropped, and they deal 1 damage to their bearer at the end of each turn. So you turn them into a problem. So that's kind of cute. The other thing about foils in this game is that the back of the card is different. It gives the full art on the back. So like this is a more normal looking spellbook card. All right, we'll finish off our ordinaries. I'll keep going here. I'm already very happy with the box so far with this Dank Omphalos and a foil elite. It's kind of like a foil rare. The foil uniques are the thing that are worth a lot in Sorcery, other than the curios. Foil uniques are the foils are pretty rare. You don't get a lot of them, and so a foil unique tends to be worth a lot, even for the uniques that are not that great. All right, Flagellant, Meat Hook, Onslaught. They do have a few multicolor cards now. They introduced that with Arthurian Legends, and there's a handful in this set too. So those are the exceptionals. Oh, Acid Rain, that's a good one. So normally you play auras at the corner between 4 sites, and it affects all 4 of them. Some auras are more specific than that. Silence affected sites and artifacts there, so just turns off all the special abilities of lands and artifacts in that area. Pretty nasty. And there are a lot of powerful lands, sites in this game, so it's a pretty worthwhile effect to be able to silence lands, not just artifacts. All right, look through the ordinaries here. I am not that well versed in spotting the curios yet, and there might be some curios that no one's even discovered from the set yet. So there's a chance that I will just scroll right past one, thumb right through it, as I'm looking at it and not realize what I'm seeing. That's one of the interesting things about Sorcery. The game makers, Eric's Curio, so they play things close to the chest. This is one of the good lands from the new set. It has double threshold. See that red triangle? So a card has two costs. It's got the mana cost, which is the number in the circle, and then it's got the threshold cost next to it. You spend mana equal to the number of sites you have usually. Threshold, you add it up, but you don't spend it. As long as you meet the threshold, you can do it. So this one site gives you double red threshold, and that's new. They haven't made sites that are two of the same threshold before. They've made some that are multicolor. So these are good. All right, exceptional, exceptional. Alabaster Box. This isn't. I don't think this is going to be a real competitive elite card. So it's a relic. Whenever a nearby minion dies, you heal one. Healing one is not that much, and they introduced some lands recently that cuts all healing in half, rounded down, which would take Alabaster Box's healing to 0. So between the 4 mana cost and only healing 1 each time a minion dies, I just don't think it's that good. Vandal Imp could be good if you don't have artifacts that you're playing yourself. You could just come in and break one of the opponent's artifacts. All right. Silent Hills. There's a lot of references to pop culture that get put into Sorcery. Some of them are more subtle than others. There's very direct references to like H.P. Lovecraft and the Cthulhu mythos. The people who make the game enjoy that, and I enjoy it too. So I think those are fun references. Put in. Excuse me. We get a drink. To put in the game. All right. Breathed in righteousness. Haystack. Haystack's a good land. It actually, your opponent can only search the top 3 cards of their deck instead of all of it. Haystack's a good one. Necromancer. This is one of the new avatars, and I think it's easy to play. You just, whenever you have free mana, once on your turn, you can make a skeleton token that summons next to the Necromancer. It's just a good, solid avatar, and it's not complicated. So it's easy to build around. I think it'd be great for a new player. It's probably pretty powerful overall. So yeah, I think Necromancer is a good one. Cherubim, this is our rare elite. So 3 fire threshold. Airborne ward. Tap to shoot a projectile that deals 4 damage. So a projectile's kind of what it sounds like. Just travels in a straight line across the game board. Kind of hits the first thing it comes across. So, yeah, this is a useful card. Just be able to shoot projectiles. You have to untap with it, of course, which, same deal as in Magic. They're trying to keep your creatures off the board, so could eat a removal spell. Oh man, some of the art. One of the other content creators, Lord of Itza, he got the physical art to this card. It's a gorgeous piece, Twilight Bloom. It's just part of what made me fall in love with sorcery. And honestly, it's part of what made me fall in love with Magic in the first place. Is a lot of the cool art. It's not that Magic doesn't still do that, but it's become more digital over time, which is fine. There's starting to be more and more pieces that are AI assisted, and that's not fine. You know, you need to be compensating people for their work. All right. And even if the sorcery sets are a little bit pricey, you know, in Magic, you have 7 sets coming out this year. Sorcery has this one set that just came out at the tail end of 2025, and there'll be one set that comes out later this year in 2026, and that's it. When you think of it in those terms, say, oh, well, that's actually fairly affordable. At that point, you're not trying to pay for 7 sets, you're trying to pay for 1. So, it's pretty good. Desecrate. This has a curio where it doesn't have the pentagram in the art. Slobbermo. There you go. We have an elite site, Pilgrim's Shrine. So the site has Ward. Ward's an ability where if it would be targeted or damaged or die, instead the ward breaks. And you can't have multiple wards. So Ward's just kind of like a little reminder token that it has this quality, and once it breaks, it's gone until it gets another ward. And sites can have wards, just like creatures can. When a minion leaves here, transfer the site's ward to it. Well, that's cool. There's a new avatar that works with warding. So this would potentially be a useful land for that. Hillside Chapel, that can ward things too. Well, looks like I've got a foil back here. Oh, Avenging Angel. Cool. So this is just an exceptional, but still, the foiling is really, really shiny on this. It's pretty neat. See a few feathers at the bottom there, where the text box would normally be. It's cool. I'll keep going through the ordinaries. Our sites over here. So yeah, I really am looking forward to playing this. I've been making my first couple of decks. One of them is basically done. And then I'm going to make a couple more that are more budget decks. Ooh, that's not a budget card. Ether Core. A unique relic of nebulous power. It provides 3 mana while it's in the void. Normally, you don't exist in the void. The first thing your avatar does is they fill the void with a land at the beginning of the game, a site. There are minions that have Void Walk, so they could carry this Ether Core out into the void. And if you somehow got this Ether Core out into the void without a minion, you can't summon it there, but if you could push it out there somehow, it would survive. Relics don't get, banished when they go to the void, but creatures do, usually. So it's hard to use, but obviously it makes 3 mana for 1 mana. So if you get it to work, that's a lot. Again, the hard part, we'll put it up here with the uniques. The hard part is getting card draw, not mana. There's lots of ways to make mana in Sorcery. Accursed Tower, that breaks wards. Again, I love the art here. And Gothic is a fun overall theme. Just kind of like Gothic horror, Gothic romance. There's a theme of good and evil. I'd say there's a lot more evil in the set than good, but there's angels, there's wards, there's holy people trying to fight back against the undead and the demons and the monsters. The monsters are a little bit more like either like big scary things that come out of like the forest or the sea, or they're like, Cthulhu mythos kind of monsters, horrors and mutants and whatnot. Heretics of Seth. That's an interesting one. Here's a Voidwalker. Oh, Toolbox. This is a really useful card. It's actually, even though it's just an exceptional, it's worth money. It's worth like $3 or $4 or something. Everyone's using this to access ordinary spells from their collection, like their little 10-card sideboard. So it's a very played card. Mayor of Milborn. Gives your other mortals more power. And since it doesn't like have like a split on there, it also affects like their toughness effectively. It's only when a card actually has like a split that you pay attention to the difference. Otherwise, it's like +1/+1. Goes with the elites. Look through our ordinaries here. Some cool art. Stinging kelp. Algae bloom. This cycle of lands that provides threshold for all the other types when they enter for one turn. They're very beautiful. Kind of amazing pieces of art to just be on an ordinary, like a common card. Open grave. Get a skeleton token. So, Sorcery is a combination of being a beautiful game, but also a tactically interesting game with the gridded board that you build as you go. You play one site per turn, usually. Most avatars have this ability tap, play, or draw a site, and that's the most common text on the avatars. All of them pretty much have that ability. So you build the board as you go, and you decide, do I want to stay away from the opponent, build out my back line? Do I want to go to meet them and, build a front line against theirs and try to uh, wall them in with my lands if they don't keep up with me? How the game board develops is interesting. In addition to, the creatures you play. You don't have to attack their avatar directly. You can attack their lands, and that makes them lose life. But once you get them to 0, they're at what's called Death's Door, and then you have to hit them directly with a spell or an attack to finish them off. And you can't do it the same turn that they went to Death's Door. So they always see one more turn at that point. This is an elite. It's a funny little guy. He's a 4/4 for 4. Damage dealt to units. Units includes the avatar. By Hemogolem strikes heals you, but damage it takes is dealt to you as well. Seems very dangerous. Reminds me of the Blood Golem from Diablo 2, Necromancer. That was a useful minion, though, in Diablo 2. Maybe it's useful in Sorcery as well. It opens you up to take extra damage, also opens you up to heal extra life. Unfortunately, there's some extra ways to punish healing now. There's a land called River of Blood. Witching Hour. Exceptional foil. Your evil, spellcaster, and spirit allies gain airborne and +1 power this turn. It's a little bit niche. Neat piece of art, though. Look through the ordinaries here. Keep putting the sights off to the side. So yeah, with I think the Ether Core right now is around $40, and probably the Omphalos is around that price too. So I paid $139.45 for the box. Those two by themselves have already covered more than half of it, not counting all the other cards. So I'm pretty happy with the pulls I've gotten. Got some exceptionals here. Plate of the Whale. This one's unique. So we'll put up with the unique piles. Bearer is a mobile if it has less than 3 power. If it has more than 3 power, prevent the first instance of damage it would take each turn. So if you play this on a big creature, it prevents damage once a turn. That's cool. I don't think you can play it directly onto an enemy minion, but if you could find a way to get it on them, then it could potentially immobilize them. I might be wrong about that. Maybe you can play it directly to them. I need to learn the rules a little bit better. So I can't say for sure. Open Mausoleum. Can get a skeleton. Look through the ordinaries here. Shoggoth is another card you can fetch out of your collection, your sideboard. Oh, here we go. We got another foil. Ignited. This one's an ordinary foil. In this set, it seems like the exceptional foils are easier to pull than the ordinary foils. So an ordinary foil is not a bad hit. Honestly, any foil, it's not a bad hit. So this is like a 3/3 for 2. Charge means it can attack immediately, and then it dies at the end of your turn. So it's almost like a removal spell. Or, pointing 3 points of burn at your opponent's face. But it could be additionally useful if you can get them back from the graveyard and do it over again. Or if you want to fill up your graveyard with creatures. Or if you got benefits for creatures dying, There's some synergies there that a spell might not have, depending on what you're trying to do. I really like the art on Spore Spouts. All right. Excuse me. A little bit congested. All right. Forsaken Crypt. This can get a ghoul from your collection. Consecrate. This can turn site into consecrated ground. So that's something you can pull from your collection as well. This whole thing with the collection only started up in Gothic. So if that sounds interesting, like referencing your sideboard collection and getting cards that way, that pretty much only happened with Sorcery Gothic, this most recent set. Into the Abyss. Submerge target minion or pull it into a void it's adjacent to. Pretty good. So if they're not on a water site that makes water threshold, you can't submerge them, but you can also pull it into an adjacent void. Adjacent means it has to be like one of the cardinal directions, like north, south, east, west. Whereas nearby would also include the diagonals. But this is a good card. If you pull something into the void, it gets banished if it doesn't have Void Walk. Good piece of removal. All right. Go through the ordinaries here. Vast Desert has lovely art. Leadworks. Oh, and an Accursed Desert. With creepy art. All right, that finishes off the left side of the box. I got 3 uniques there, and 2 of them are really valuable uniques. So, honestly, at this point, I feel like I've already accomplished my main mission with the box. I've gotten some great cards, so we'll just have fun from here. Open the rest and see if we get anything else. Mismanaged Mortuary. This is a rare site. Elite. So it's flooded, Flooded means it's like a water site, so it actually provides water threshold, even though it doesn't say it on the card. Treat your opponent's cemetery as yours, and vice versa. I am not quite sure what you would do with that, but it's interesting. There's a lot of interesting cards in Sorcery that seem like unsolved riddles. All right. Ordinaries, Mausoleum, Shoggoth. Oh, this is a really powerful Ordinary. So, Angry Mob, 2 fire threshold, 4 mana, it's 3/3. Genesis, that means when it enters the battlefield, kill target adjacent, unique, or elite minion. Now, some people do use some exceptional and ordinary minions, but it tends to be that the more powerful cards are, the elites and the uniques. So, I don't know if I could run a whole set of 4 of these in a deck and always expect it to hit, but running 1 or 2, yeah, it feels like there's going to be board states where it's got at least one thing it can come down and just kill right away. So, very powerful common card, or ordinary as we might say for sorcery. All right. Harvest Festival. This pulls things from the sideboard. The collection. There's another Necromancer. Master Necromancer, Elite Mortal, Spellcaster. Genesis, summon a skeleton token to each other adjacent site. So you get this 2/2, and you also get 4 1/1s, as long as you've got 4 adjacent sites. So that's kind of like 6 power and toughness spread across 5 bodies, assuming you don't have like a Lord of the Undead guy or whatever is pumping up their power. So it's a good card. You have a good board state for it to come down on, but it makes a lot of stuff. I love that they got some Quentin Hoover art for this, even though he's passed away. Um, it's one of my favorite Magic artists. Yeah, it's great to see his work in the set. All right, Blessed Village, Scott Ward. So sorcery can be drafted just like Magic. It can be played, sealed deck. They've got special avatars where if you don't draft an avatar in your pool, you always have access to, I think it's called Spellslinger. It's very simple. You start with 1 additional card in your hand at the start of the game, and it's got the tap player draw site. Deep Sea, this is the double water threshold land. Very good. Oh, Clay Golem. This thing's worth money. People like this thing. So it's 3/3 for 4, no threshold. Deathrite, when it dies, you play the top site of your atlas to an adjacent void or rubble. So a place where a site was destroyed or the open void. So this guy can ramp you when it dies. You don't know what land you're going to get because it's just the top card, whatever it is, but still, that's pretty cool. It's a little bit undersized for its cost, but getting that ability tacked on, where it both draws and plays a site when it dies, is very strong. I can see why people like it. I might end up using it. Oh, oh my. This is one of the chase cards of the set right here. We're having a heck of a box here, folks. Um, Ether Core, Omphalos. We've hit Ino now. Again, this is Quentin Hoover art. Absolutely beautiful. 3/3 for 3, 2 water threshold, unique mortal. At the end of your turn, Ino may take a step between the top and bottom edges of the realm. So instead of going across the board, it can, from your side, it can step down and go over to the opponent's side of the board up at the top. At the end of your turn, can take a step between the top and bottom edges of the realm to gain stealth. Stealth means it can't be directly targeted and units can't attack it. So she can step from your side to the other side. Then she's in stealth, so she's really hard to kill. They can target the site that she's standing on, and that might work, but it's just tough to deal with the unit in stealth. Then she can hit the avatar directly or hit one of their sites that's there and they can't defend because she's in stealth. And then at the end of your turn, she steps back to your side and goes back in stealth again. Now, she can only do this every other turn, right? Because then you have to wait till the end of your next turn before she steps to the opponent's side again. But she is just a really cool card and one that's worth a lot of money currently. Like I said, the Ether Core and the Omphalos are like 40. I know maybe she's coming down in price. There was a moment where she was really popping up there in price. Maybe she's getting down into that $40 range now too, or 30. But still, this is an amazing set of cards to hit here. This has been we aren't even halfway through this box. This has been a fabulous box. I'm getting excited. I'm normally, pretty low key, but I'm starting to get a little bit pumped about this box now. And yeah, I'm not the channel to come to if you want someone who's like, woo! That's not me. But this is me excited right now. Gosh, we've had such a great box it hardly even matters what the rest of it is, but we're still gonna hope that we keep hitting cool stuff. There's the base of Babel. So this makes Earth Threshold, and you may build the Tower of Babel by playing the Apex of Babel atop of this. The base is exceptional, the top is unique. So it's hard to actually get the top of Babel. I imagine it's hard to build it on the battlefield too. I forget what it does when you complete it. I think the top has Air Threshold, and it has some unique effect when you combine it. You make the whole thing. River Rapids, an elite site. Once on your turn, you may push a minion on connected rivers one step. Oh, interesting. So it needs to say river in the card's name. It doesn't just need to be a body of water. It has to be a river specifically. But you can do this every turn. That's cool. So yeah, you can just push things around every turn with the river rapids. Water is interesting that way. Water does a lot of forced movement. It also it has the ability to flood other people's sites, and it has things that care about how big its body of water is. So water is kind of like it floods the world, and it kind of forces you to step places you didn't want to go. Water's tricksy, and water got a lot stronger in this set. Cards like I Know are part of that. Again, love that Quentin Hoover art. Yeah, at this point, I don't even mind if we don't get a foil unique in this box. We've already gotten like a foil elite or two. And the uniques I have pulled are great. Some of the very best. So, no complaints here. Oh, Monster Morphosis. This is an interesting card. Those 3 mana, 2 water threshold. You disable a nearby target minion until your next turn. So you can target the opponent's thing too if you want, or yours. At the start of that turn, you may transform it into a monster from your hand. Right, so you can get a big thing out of your hand by transforming your own guy that you disabled. Or you could disable their minion and then transform it into a horrible hybrids from your collection. Now that's a 3/3 with no abilities. That's not like a great removal spell, but it disables it for a turn and then it turns it into a 3/3, which maybe it was like, a big flying angel unique or something. Maybe it was a great creature before, and now it's something smaller with no special ability and you're able to kill it. It's not a great removal spell, but it doubles as a way of getting your own big monster out. So I like cards that do double duty like that. Oh, Fields of Ixis. This is a good one. Exceptional sight. The sight directly in front is silenced. So if they had a troll bridge or something where you didn't want to move your guy in or you'd have to discard or get attacked by the troll, now you can silence the troll bridge. And it doesn't do that anymore. It's a good card. Air Threshold. Oh, another Lord of Lies. That's a good guy. That's a good guy. We'll find a use for him. Make 2 target units at a nearby location fight each other. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this set. I'm really enjoying Sorcery in general, and I haven't even played my first game. I've just been collecting it so far and building decks and theory crafting. But I have definitely enjoyed what I've done with it so far, and I'm looking forward to giving it a try as a game. I already have a special game mat that I bought. It's got like the field with its grid, lovely piece of art underneath. I could have used that. It's a little bit larger than this table that I'm opening on, so I thought I'd just go ahead and use this magic mat that I have instead. All right, Hauntless Head. In past sets, there is a headless haunt, so that's cute. Ferryman's Coin could be useful. It's like a one-time mana boost, or you can banish 3 cards from a cemetery. It's not bad. Cherubim. Oh yeah, we got one of these. I think it's good though. I think it's a very good card. Don't mind getting another one. Alright, Silent Hills. Another beautiful Twilight Bloom. Wiccan Tools. This might end up being a really good card in the set. 2 mana, it's a relic. You can sacrifice it to draw a spell, and this turn, the bearer of Wiccan Tools, you could, like any creature on your field, can become a spellcaster. So your spell can originate from that creature, and their spells require no threshold. So you pay 2, it replaces itself with a card, you make something into a spellcaster, and it fixes your threshold for this turn. Overall, seems pretty handy. I don't know if it'll find a home, but it seems like it could do good things. Algae Bloom. Love the art cycle. Yep. Right. Harpian Urge. Strange Loner. This is one that when it dies, you can summon a horrible hybrids from the collection. I think it's kind of useful. Might end up using that. Oh my goodness. This box is just full of hits. Just full of them. Archangel Gabriel. There's one of these for each color. This is the air threshold. So it's 4/4 for 5. It's got airborne. It has ward. So, the first time you try to go to target it, kill it, damage it, the ward just pops instead. And Genesis, choose another allied minion. They draw a spell, which only they can cast. It even replaces itself with a card. All of these angels are really powerful. Some more than others, maybe. This is probably easily like a $15 or $20 card, maybe more. Gosh, that is quite a stack of uniques I'm getting right there. I'm feeling very lucky at this moment. This has been a fantastic box. All right, Desert Bloom, part of that same cycle. Name is Kaio. All right, Hellhounds, Static Servant. Hellhounds is one of those you can summon from the collection. All right. Here we go. Accusation. This can get into the opponent's hand and make them discard. Consecrated Ground again. Kroll Morlocks. It's got Burrowing and Void Walk, so it can go underground. It can also go into the Void. Dole Chance. Elite Magic. Tap any number of nearby allies. Okay. So it includes the diagonals. Reveal that many spells from the top of your spellbook. Cast one for free. Put the rest on the bottom of your spellbook. Reveal that many spells. So this would be good in like a token deck, like Necromancer. Necromancer would have a pile of skeletons nearby to use this Dole Chance. But then maybe you could get a big spell off of it. That's cool. Don't think it's for every deck. Go through the ordinaries here. Side Chapel, Mesmer Demon, cool art. Cursed Tower, also cool art. I just keep saying that about every card because it's true. The art is just so good. It's part of the identity of Sorcery. This hand-drawn, hand-painted art. It's amazing. This is part of why I don't mind the slightly more expensive box price. And it's not even really more expensive. It's got 36 packs in the box compared to Magic. And if you compare it to like a Universes Beyond product, the price is probably about the same. Magic is putting out 7 of these a year. And you just have to keep up with this one. Now this one has 440 cards in it. So, it's a little bit harder to collect all of them, but it's just one set. Alright, Dark Alley. Dread Thicket. Elite Site. The first attack out of this site each turn can't be defended. The first attack out of this site. I am not sure what that means. Like if you have a charge minion, they come out of the site. Or maybe a unit that has a ranged attack that like launches a projectile. I'm not exactly sure what this means in terms of the rules. I would have to ask someone. Not an expert. Alright. Moss Troll. So in past sets, there have been curios on the troll cards. The thing is, I don't even know what I would be looking for. An ordinary giant rock, right? Stealth. Lose the stealth if it moves. All of that looks like the normal card, I think. I don't even know what I'm looking for here. Eric's Curious Games, Sorcerer Contested Realm. I think that looks like a normal card to me. I don't think it looks like a Hoos Foos special card. Curio, that's what they're called. But I don't even know it well enough to say for sure. Heck. Kiss of Death. If you've got Necromancer, this basically is just a kill spell. It's pretty cool. Flagellant, Bitter Departed. Oh, here's a neat one. Greater Blood Demon. Elite Demon. Genesis, you lose 4 life. It doesn't keep happening, though. It's just a one-time thing. And you get a 6/6 for 4. That is way above rate. And it's early enough in the game that it might matter. So I'd be interested in trying like a beatdown plan with this card and see if I could get it to work. Screamer. That is some art. That is some art. It's not a terrible card either. Apparently it's pretty good and limited. Okay. Keep putting the sights over here. We'll separate out everything else later. Alright, so we're almost to the bottom of the middle column here. And this box is already a success. It doesn't matter what else we find in the box. This box is already a success. We're just going to see how much more of a success it can be. Carrionet, this is cool. Summon an undead minion from a cemetery to a nearby location. Obviously you want to build around it yourself to have undead that you're putting in your cemetery. But you could, if you're lucky, snag something from the opponent's cemetery. People play Dapper Old Vampire. It's undead. It's a 4/4 airborne thing that gains life when it hits things. You could definitely kill the opponent's Dapper Old Vampire and Carrionet it. So that's some added functionality in the deck. Onslaught. Oh, Hellfire. I was hoping I would get one of these. It's not like a super expensive card, but I think it's just good tech in the metagame. 5 mana, 2 fire threshold, elite magic, destroy everything below sights. Everything submerged, everything burrowed, everything down there. Then deal 2 damage to each minion above. This includes your minions too. But you could clear out a whole bunch of tokens and a whole bunch of problematic things that are submerged or under the earth. Root spiders disable things from underground. Koi Nixie manipulates your units into walking closer and she submerges. So I think Hellfire will play. I don't know if you need both copies in your deck. It's an elite, so you can only have 2 at most. But I think it's a great silver bullet to have around. All right, go through the ordinaries here. Good stuff. Okay. Bladder Blimp. It's kind of a cool piece of art, kind of disturbing too. That's maybe a little funny. Centerfee. Normally, little creatures like this don't do well. They're too easily removed. I like that this turns off a sight though. It's kind of interesting. Might be worth seeing if you could like ward this creature or give it stealth or something and have it stick around. Oh, we've got a neat avatar here. This is Blade Dancer. So, like most avatars, 20 life, 1 power to hit with. You can tap to play or draw a sight, that's normal. After her first attack each turn, Blade Dancer may take a step. When she does, she may attack a unit there. So this is an avatar that you want to suit up with equipment and magic and stuff. And you want to go use your spells to move or you can also march over there yourself to your enemy's sites and units and stuff. And she can basically double attack if circumstances are right. And the amount of damage that a Blade Dancer can do is pretty astronomical, it turns out. If you're not ready to deal with a Blade Dancer, you can be in a world of hurt. So you would want minions to defend with, probably things to break artifacts and enchantments, so she can't stay equipped. Just kind of a brutal strategy where your avatar is actually the threat. There's a couple other avatars like that in the game. Alright, we'll go through the sites, ordinaries. Penitent Knight is one you can get from your sideboard, your collection. Yeah, this set is going to be a fun one to collect like slowly and gradually. So even though only one set comes out a year, because the set is so big, it's got over 100 unique cards in it, of like unique rarity, I mean. It's going to be a challenge to collect a bunch of it, and that'll be kind of a fun reason to, save up. Maybe around my birthday I'll buy another box. Or if I have a windfall in the meantime, who knows. I don't buy a lot of sealed product, I usually buy singles. Tombstone Wardens, an elite monument. During your opponent's turn, this is a 5-power angel automaton with airborne. Cool. So this is mostly made to defend with. Yeah, you play it on one of your sites as a monument, and then on the opponent's turn, it's a giant flying angel that's ready to block, intercept, and stuff. It's interesting. That might be kind of useful in a deck that's using Chains of Prometheus, because it wouldn't be a creature on your turn, so it wouldn't tap. But it would be ready to block on their turn while you're tapping down their stuff with Chains of Prometheus. That might be cool. Another Moss Troll. Ordinary giant rock, right? I don't know, is it? Is it an ordinary one? I can't tell. I guess it looks ordinary to me. Still looking for curios. Alright. So, haven't seen as many foils. I do not mind that at all. With these amazing unique pulls, I do not care if this is a less foily box. I've already gotten the good stuff here. Now we're just riding out the last row of this box. Seeing just what other neat stuff we find. Gloam Toads. Elite monsters eat all they can reach. So it's 5, 2 water threshold, 6/6. Immobile, which means it can't move from its site. Tap. It drags in a target adjacent unit and may strike it when it arrives. So they, flick out their tongue, catch you, pull you in, and eat you. I suppose. And yeah, they don't even fight it, they just strike it. But they're immobile. That still seems good. Water is good at moving enemy units around. So it seems very likely in water that you can force your opponent's stuff to move up to the point that the Gloam Toads can get them. That might be a neat challenge. All right. This Monks of Kobalsa is pretty neat, ordinary. It can't be modified except by wards. It's 4/4 for 4. So it is a solid chunk of creature, and it can't be modified, except you can ward it. Now that does mean some good stuff you can do to it can't happen as well, but it's just a neat card. It's a very solid card. It's in some ways hard to muck with. So it's definitely not just the uniques and elites that are playable. There's plenty of good stuff in the ordinary and exceptional slots that are good for being played as well. Witching Hour, Bullwhip, Sinsu of the Fang. Oh, City of Glass. A unique site. Okay, so if you have an air threshold, it provides 2 mana instead, but is destroyed when damaged. Okay. Okay, so if you have some air threshold, it makes extra mana, but you're risking your site being destroyed because it's fragile. That is actually a pretty cool, unique site. Oh, I guess I've been putting the sites over here. There might have been another unique site earlier. I don't know. I'll set this one here for now. Put it with the other uniques. I might have put some other uniques away in there. All right. 10-ton slug. I think when Alpha and Beta came out, 7/7 for 7 might have been playable and constructed. There are a lot of big creatures up at the top end, but some of them are like 8 and 9 and 10 mana and stuff. And if you've played Magic, there's a world of difference between getting to 7 mana and getting to 8 mana. You really got to push to get that extra mana. In this game, you can always guarantee that you can keep drawing sites, but your avatar, that's at the cost of developing your spells. And your avatar can tap to draw sites, and that if you're using them to do that, that's slowing down the ability to play those sites. So you might or might not ever get to 8 and 9 mana, but 7 is not out of the question. You can ramp, of course. And you can build your deck to do it. There are probably a lot of better cards to play than the 10-ton slug. I like some of the giants and things they've made that have like Burrow and Submerge, or like Burrow and Voidwalk. They're harder to kill because they survive when they go underground or out into the void. They're like a 6/6 for 7, I think. Thin Ice. Oh, this is a cool one. At the end of your turn, if minions atop the site total 5 or more power, submerge them. So they break through the ice, and if they're submerged and they don't have like the keyword, they drown. They die when they go down there. So it's another tricky way that water can try to lure you into somewhere dangerous. 4 fat frogs. That's cool. If you're doing a frog thing, this is probably useful, or a token thing. If you're playing with the Panacotic Manuscript, the book where you can tap and it damages the minion equal to the cost of the spell you draw, having a whole pile of frogs could be handy. Like that card could draw you 4 cards at that point. Arjaro Exorcist. So 2/2 for 2, Earth Threshold, Elite Mortal, Spellcaster Genesis. Banish target adjacent demon, spirit, or aura. Demons are fairly common, spirits a little less so. Aura, yeah, it might come up. So this seems Kind of like a silver bullet sort of a card. I don't know if there's a way to pull an elite out of your collection though. So you might have to run this in the main deck if you want access to it. Not a bad card, it's just you're not sure if the situation's going to come up. Now got another foil finally. Exceptional Magic of Infernal Inquiry, Searing Truth. This is a good one. 3 mana, 2 fire threshold. Target player draws and reveals 2 spells, then takes damage equal to the higher mana cost. So if you're trying to finish off the opponent's avatar, like if they're at death's door, this can deal them damage directly. Or it can just, get them to death's door if they're still at a positive life total. Or you can use it to draw cards. It's dangerous if you use it on yourself, but you can. So it's a flexible card. It's kind of neat. I like it. All right. There we go, Molten Mar. So if you have 2 fire threshold when this comes down, you can cast Hellhounds from your collection to this site, which is like a 3/3 for 3 with no special abilities. So that's cool. Normally it's just a land drop, but in this case it's a land where you can pay 3 and get a card extra. It's kind of like drawing a spell. The spell happens to be a 3/3 for 3. Pretty good. I think I'm going to use it in my Elementalist deck. The cool thing about Elementalist, they get an extra threshold of every type. So when this site comes down, it gives you a fire threshold. The Elementalist gives you the other fire threshold. You always meet the conditions to use the site with an Elementalist. It's pretty neat. All right, other nearby undead allies have +1 power. That's pretty cool. Oh, Silver Bullet. I think this is another money card here. So kind of like Toolbox. This says the bearer has tap, sacrifice Silver Bullet. So you actually have to tap your creature to use it. This unit may cast an exceptional spell from your collection. So this gives you access to a sideboard, basically. You have to tap the creature to do it, so that creature can't attack or block, but you get access to exceptional spells that you put in your collection. And I even though this is an elite, and the elites usually aren't worth as much money, I think Silver Bullet in particular probably is. If I had to guess, I would guess it's like $8 or $10. I could be way off. All right. Get through the ordinaries here. So yeah, I would say Silver Bullet is a hit, honestly. About as much as like a random unique is. Raise, this is land destruction. Pretty useful stuff because the lands in this game are really powerful. We'll probably put that to use. Bureau of Occult Control, an elite site, regulates and taxes sorcery. Players must pay 2 to access a collection or cemetery. That's rough. That is some pretty tough what do you call it, stacks. Death and taxes, control piece to lock down the opponent. It doesn't totally lock them out, but making it 2 mana more expensive that's a big tax. Certainly slows them down a lot. Probably gives you time to do what you need to do. All right. Going through the ordinaries once more. Landmass, this, and there's a water card that's similar to it. It lets you draw a site, and then this lets you play a land site. The other one, the water one, lets you play a water site. This is good. So this gives you the site, and it lets you play the site. So it's a ramp spell. And we don't have a whole lot of those in Sorcery. Some of the good ramp pieces we have are artifacts, relics. So being able to get sites down that way is something we didn't have a lot of before. So it's a good card, one to pay attention to, even though it's just an ordinary. Demon Hunter. Fertile Earth. This gives double Earth Threshold. It's a good one. Gnarled Windigo. I think people are using this, getting the cost reduction on it and stuff. I think it's seeing play. Falling Star, an elite aura, and supernatural portent. Last 3 of your turns. So an aura, it's played to like the corner of 4 sites. When the star falls, you may summon a minion from your hand atop an affected site. It strikes each other unit where it lands. The opponent definitely knows this is coming. So, I don't know how powerful this is. You have to survive a while before it does its thing. They could move their stuff out of the way in the meantime. Although it's hard to avoid 4 squares of the board. That is a huge swath. So if you keep them active and engaged in the area of the falling star, then finally you can get a free minion, and it strikes, deals its damage to every other unit where it lands. It seems like it'd be hard to use, honestly, but who knows? Until you actually try, maybe it's better than it looks. Algae Bloom. Ghost Fire. Alright, we're starting to get down to the bottom of the box, and like I said, I am pleased as punch with this box and its pulls. I don't have to have a foil unique. I am really happy with the uniques that I got. Frozen Horror. Winter Nymph. This is a good one. So, 2 power, 2/2, 2 water threshold. Has stealth, so she's hard to target, hard to attack. Whenever another minion is summoned nearby, tap it. What that does is it turns off charge. It means if your opponent's playing charge minions, they don't get to attack that turn. They just sit there tapped. And they can't even defend when it's your turn. So that's cool. And the fact that she has stealth means that she might stick around a little bit. Blade of Thorns, an elite weapon. Prickling power. Bearer has +3 power, but can't drop the weapon. Controller loses 2 life at the end of their turn. This is the kind of thing that I would put on Blade Dancer. You're hopefully going to deal more damage to them than they will to you. She can attack twice, so this by itself puts her power up to 4, and then she can hit 2 things. If that's just hitting the opponent in their lands, that's like 8 damage to them all at once. Blade Dancer is kind of terrifying. Blade of Thorns is a usable card. It would not go in every deck, for sure. Oh, we got a foil. There we go. River of Blood. Oh, this is pretty in foil. It's got Fire Threshold. All healing is halved, rounded down. So yeah, this is being played in the metagame a lot right now. It used to be very popular with Archimago and some others, that you'd play spells that like gain 7 life and do other stuff. But people are running a bunch of this now. and life gain is just not as good as it was. Here's the full art on the back. All right. Mandrake Jars. Order of the Pale Worm. I like this guy. This is 3/3 for 3, 2 air threshold. Exceptional mortal. Nearby sites and units lose ward. Doesn't say until end of turn. Doesn't say when they're, if they stay near this unit. Just the ward's gone. Anything else that moves into that area, the ward's gone. So this just blows up wards as a matter of course. No special actions required. And I like that. 3/3 for 3 is already reasonably playable. The ward is annoying to deal with, so having a unit that just does it as part of existing is pretty cool. Shallow Grave. Can mill you. Can be useful for some avatars. Hemogoblin. 2/2 for 2, 2 fire threshold, elite fairy. Genesis and Deathrite. So when it enters and when it dies, set players' maximum life to their current life. Interesting. Probably all upside if you don't have any way to heal yourself. If your life total was never going to go back up again, then yeah, why not? Now 2/2 for 2 is not the most threatening thing in the world. Doesn't have any special way to protect itself like stealth or ward, so it might not be that great. Moss Troll. People think there's some kind of a curio with this, but I don't know. I don't know if I would be able to find it if there was. Ah, Harbinger. This is one of the precon avatars. Neat guy. So it has the usual tap, player, draw a site. But also, when you're first sitting down to the game, you roll 3 random squares on the battlefield. And once on your turn, you can cast a minion to one of them, and for 1 mana less. If you have Voidwalk minions, this means you could summon them right away even if there's no land there, even if it's the Void. You could just boop, summon a Voidwalk minion. That might end up being close to your enemy's avatar, close to their lands. So Harbinger is it's a neat way to play, and you get a little mana discount too. So pretty cool. Can summon stuff to your opponent's side of the board potentially for cheaper. Searing Truth. It's a useful spell. Gravedigger. Oh, Animist. So this one, tap player, draw a site, but you can also cast magics in your hand, like spells and auras and stuff, as spirits with power equal to their cost. It doesn't do its normal effect if you do that. It's just like if you have a 5 mana spell, you can instead play it as a 5/5 for 5. That's a spirit. Animist is real interesting. I don't know if it's good, but it's interesting. Shoggoth. Ever seen a Shoggoth? It's a reference. H.P. Lovecraft. I think the first time they appeared maybe was at the Mountains of Madness in that story. It was one of his longer ones. All right, I think this might be the second to last pack. the penultimate pack. All right, Holy Water. Forlorn Keep. Oh, this is the one that can cast a Penitent Knight. Bleeding Skull. Okay, 4 mana, Elite Relic. Whenever a minion dies nearby, your opponent loses 1 life. This is probably better than the one that gains life, especially since people are playing River of Blood to turn off life gain and stuff. This is a little bit more proactive. Still, I don't know if 4 mana is maybe too expensive for the effect. We'll see. Interesting build around, at least. Alright. Get these sorted out here. Overflow. This is the one that you can draw a site and play a water site. It's good stuff. Okay, last pack. So, this has been a great box. We got most of the great hits early, but I am well content with it. Very happy for what I've opened out of it based on the price I paid. And I'm looking forward, Peculiar Report, this can cast horrible hybrids from your collection. Looking forward to sitting down to play the game. Oh, this is great. Divine Intervention. It's 1 of every threshold, so an Elementalist can just cast it. As long as you get to 7 mana. And you return from Death's Door to 1 life. I was wanting a copy of this card for my Elementalist deck. This is great. Great. Unique magic. I don't know if it's expensive or not, but I am very happy that I opened it. So, that is a fantastic way to end the box. I'm looking forward to playing more Sorcery, playing my first game, collecting more. And if you are someone who's a little burnt out on Magic, looking for something else to do in addition to Magic, or that's different than Magic, this is a game where you're supporting, artists who work in traditional mediums. You're definitely not supporting AI-generated stuff. And it's an interesting tactical experience to build the board that you're fighting on. Based on what I've seen, it's a great game, and I am going to keep moving forward with it, even as I continue to keep my toe in Magic. So what do you all think? You could comment. That would be cool. Or you could like and subscribe. That would be very helpful. And checking out the other videos is actually the biggest one. I put out a video talking about shrinkflation in Magic. Hasn't seen a lot of views yet. It would be great if you could look at that. I'll put a link at the end of the video here and probably in the description. Until next time, never stop honing your critical thinking and empathy.